Andrew with Crypto Finder, and we are sitting here today with Xinshu Dong, former co-founder of Zilliqa and current co-founder of RockX. I understand you launched very recently. I think it's been a mile a minute since then. What does RockX do?
Thank you. It's my pleasure being here. RockX has this vision of building a sort of one-stop digital asset services platform. We see still gaps here and there in the sort of blockchain or crypto space, and RockX is sort of born to sort of close all these gaps and make it really much easier for anyone, whether it's a crypto enthusiast or someone who is just curious about blockchain and crypto in general, to have very easy access to these digital assets. That's sort of our objective. We are doing this step by step. We sort of launched our platform just last month, but we are actually going to release our product very soon as well.
Oh. So you did mention the gaps you spotted in the crypto market. Your products are specifically designed to fill these gaps. Can you outline some of these gaps, I guess?
I think sort of the most famous or infamous example is sort of the challenge of dealing with private keys. How can we imagine the sort of mainstream people, the folks on the street, to have the understanding of what a private key is and have the ways and means to secure the keys? I think it's just super challenging. Even for someone like myself, I'm from the cybersecurity background, so I potentially know everything about the implications of storing keys. I still find it very hard in practice to do that. It's just a challenge it's just one of the many challenges that people are facing today. I think we still have to make it much easier for people to access crypto. But on the other hand, I think people also have a lot of misunderstandings or even misconceptions about blockchain and digital assets. So sometimes they feel these things are just for speculation. They have nothing in it. So these misconceptions also have to be sort of addressed before the mainstream people can really look forward to the adoption of these tokens. I think there are just many of such examples we have to work on.
So let's go one by one. I guess custody, is that the angle RockX is using to solve the first problem?
I think crypto custodians are very important. They are critical to much wider adoption. We don't have sort of an immediate plan now to be a custodian ourselves, but we are working with others very closely. I think many of the people out there are very professional in terms of putting your assets under their custody in a very secure and a very careful manner. So we will just work with them for the first step.
Okay. Do you think there is a future in just consumer education about private key management, or is the idea of Main Street investor private key management just a bridge too far?
I think, don't get me wrong, I think private keys have the beauty in it. I think it's a very, very nice way to have sort of full decentralization. The point here is that we cannot get there in one day or even in 1 year. I think it's probably going to take several years, to say the least. But between now and then, should we just do nothing and wait for that to magically happen? Or should we say, let's do something about it so that users see a partial benefit of having a decentralized infrastructure like blockchain, to have that infrastructure sort of backing tokens, which may give you different meanings, right? So that's where we are headed. I think eventually I still look forward to see a much better future where people really understand the importance and implications of having their own private keys. And that's sort of the decentralized world everyone in this space is looking forward to.
Yeah. I suppose that does in some ways go directly to the second point you made, that people do often see cryptocurrencies as just purely speculative. Is this incremental solutions, partial solutions, do you think that goes a long way towards making it useful day to day?
Right. I think first of all, I personally disagree with this understanding or this proposal that cryptos or anything blockchain have no underlying value. I do not agree with that. But I think it's very difficult to argue directly sometimes with people who already in some way lost faith in crypto blockchain. So I think what we can do now is sort of to bring usage and adoption to blockchain. And when people start using applications, start using stuff which sort of is backed by blockchain without even noticing that. I think that would be a slow process to change their mentality towards a much more positive one on blockchain.
Yeah. So you foresee that as being the next natural step, is blockchain on the back end, invisible to the end user?
I think probably this is something we were a little too ambitious as sort of a burgeoning ecosystem. So in the beginning, we thought we could just change everyone's mindset to something super decentralized. Then we realized that it was so hard. But I don't think we should lose heart here. I think it's just a matter of progress, just a matter of pace. We just need to slow down a little bit, create beautiful products, great products that are backed by blockchain, that have some benefits of the blockchain, but not entirely blockchain looking in a way. And then people may start appreciating that. I think that's probably necessary. So beyond that, definitely we can think more about a purely decentralized ecosystem with all your private keys, governing the system. But I think let's just do that behind the scene for the moment, and show people the real power and beauty of blockchain in the name of applications.
Yeah. Would you say one of the challenges is the diverse range of stakeholders that need to get on board and create these ecosystems before you can actually produce workable solutions? Mm-hmm. Does RockX, in a way, bring together these disparate players?
Definitely. That's one of our sort of primary objectives. So I think blockchain has gone through a process where in the beginning it was just for hobbyists, in a way, just for enthusiasts, early adopters, whatever. But it has sort of gone beyond that, I feel, especially if you look at Bitcoin. So that's sort of much more recognized than a few years ago. And I think there's more to be done. RockX, being some player in this space, I think we have this unique strength of collaborating with different players, whether it's public chains who are building the next generation technology, or it's about exchanges or OTC DEX who are sort of facilitating trees, or it's about custodians. I think we have to work with them, being someone who is trying to provide a one-stop platform. But on the other hand, having the advantage of working with them very closely, I think we can contribute our own unique value into this, so that people will have a much easier way to access these crypto assets, not worrying about all the nitty-gritty details. But also we want to promote among all our collaborators the way to sort of promote blockchain in terms of adoption, promote blockchain in terms of much better accessibility.
Yeah. What would you say it is that sets RockX apart from the other one-stop blockchain shop solutions?
Mm-hmm. I think this is going to be a game of collective power. I do not think this is just about one company, one project. I think this is the general direction that everyone gradually sees important, and RockX is happy to be spearheading sort of this game, and we are open to work with anyone in this space who may have other strengths that we do not currently have.
So you see it as someone's got to do it, right?
Yes, and it's not like someone got to do it. Many people got to do it.
Yeah, and the glue holding these many people together, getting everyone on the same page.
Right.
With these solutions. So what are some of the practical, I guess, on the nitty-gritty side, what are some of the products, if you will, that RockX will be offering?
Yes, so that's something that's still in the works. To begin with, we are going to roll out a staking as a service platform, which is going to be launched very soon. So this will provide sort of a secure way for people to have their crypto assets being staked there and generating some of the rewards. But going forward, I think we are going to be a little more ambitious in terms of targeting people who do not necessarily have these tokens yet. So the exact form of these products is still being worked out, but I think we will have more news to share very soon.
Oh, sounds exciting.
Definitely.
I'll certainly be looking forward to it. Do you think decentralization isn't really a feature in itself, is it?
I think decentralization is the dream that many people have. I have that dream. Maybe you have that dream as well. I think the challenge now is to sort of take step by step And eventually we see we are closer to that dream. But on the other hand, I do not think decentralization is a necessity in every single use case. Sometimes you just don't need it. But the point of promoting decentralization is to provide a viable alternative to people. I don't think that is there yet, or it only exists to a very small group of people. So I think there's a long way to go to keep promoting decentralization. And then when people have choices, even those centralized solutions, I think will take better care of user data, user privacy. I think that's just a better world for everyone.
Yeah. Do you think decentralized solutions, will people naturally gravitate to it as an alternative option? Or do you feel as though decentralized solutions need to leverage the back-end benefits of decentralization and blockchain in a more meaningful way to attract more users?
I think it's probably going to be both. So the exact proportion between the two is something I'm not sure about. And I think depending on different geographies, the numbers could appear quite differently as well. So for example, in places like China, maybe people look more onto the actual utility of these applications. But in places like Europe, for example, people may have a strong tendency in embracing decentralization just by itself. So that's something we don't know yet. But any progress towards either side of these two aspects, I think that's very important.
Yeah. Was there a light bulb moment when you said the world needs something like RockX to bring things together and get things done?
I think it was not sort of just one moment. It was sort of a gradual thought process. So as someone who was trained deeply in terms of technology, in the beginning it was still very hard for me to understand, what's this wallet, these private keys, and sometimes there are different types of keys. How do you manage all these things? And this is a recovery code. It was just very troublesome. And then, of course, I overcome some of these obstacles along the way. But eventually, when some of my friends and relatives started to ask me to explain to them, what is this exciting opportunity you guys all are talking about? I started to realize, again, this challenge, this barrier. And sometimes people were even interested in specific things about blockchains, for example, in terms of staking, in terms of POW mining. Then it was even harder to let them participate, even if they have the funds, even if they have the strong desire. So I think that's a process of several stages, which led me into thinking that this is really a problem. In the beginning, as someone who was deep into the space, you tend to ignore this. You say, it's your problem, it's not my problem. You have to embrace this. But after some time, you realize this is indeed a challenge for people.
Do you think the industry as a whole has come to this realization and taken a step back?
Yes. Yeah. I think that's much needed.
Was this during the crypto winter of last year that you think this happened, or was it before then? Was there?
I don't know. Maybe different people, had a different tough time last year. I mean, it was all tough, but in a different ways. But some people, I think, gradually started to realize, you can't just keep this game on. You have to bring it to reality. I think many people were very quiet towards the end of last year. Maybe people were just, thinking about the future. But this year, you start to see people talking about these things. People realize, to really bring it to mainstream, there are many things you have to do.
So it's, I guess, in a nutshell, about professionalizing the overall ecosystem some more.
Yes, definitely. And it has to do with accessibility. It has to do with doing things the right way.
Yeah. Does it bring functional benefits to platforms that, for example, that RockX users might be staking tokens on? Will users of those blockchains be able to enjoy features such as more reliable throughput and other things like that?
Yeah, another thing on top of all this is sort of governance. That's something we are still thinking about, still trying to explore together with other stakeholders in the space. So I think a unique feature, a very nice feature about proof-of-stake blockchains is that people who are holding tokens are given sort of the rights to decide the evolvement of their future protocols. But on the other hand, you see in reality it's also very difficult for just any token holder to understand what does this protocol proposal mean. Is this superior than the competitors' proposals? It's just very challenging. But I think we need to equip people, equip the token holders with the right skill sets, at least the perspectives to make such decisions, and technically make it easier. It's more about just reading some documents, participating in some discussions, and then make a decision, right?
Yeah.
I think that's happening, but there are still things to be done.
So it's a question of education, largely.
Right. Education in terms of technology, also education in terms of the implications of these proposals.
Do you foresee a world somewhere way, way down the line when everyone has the knowledge to read and objectively assess different code and participate in decentralized governance?
I think it's very challenging, but I'm confident in a way. I think I feel that can happen given more time and more effort. I think education has really improved, in the past decades to centuries. Now more people can read, more people can sort of gather the necessary resources or information he or she needs to have an independent decision. I think we'll get there.
That's a good point. A few centuries ago, you only needed to know how to read if you were a scribe.
Right, definitely.
Now everyone knows how to read,
yeah.
and can be like that with
yes.
assessing governance proposals and similar.
Right.
Yeah. Interesting vision of the future.
Yeah, I'm hopeful for that.
It sounds like a long process, though.
Definitely.
So I imagine it's going to keep you pretty busy.